Howdy y'all, got the Bulldog on the channel. I've done several how-to videos here lately. Figured I'd take a break and do a little bit of a vlog video. Day in the life, you know. First of all, we're doing better. I mean, it went up 30 degrees here in the last few days. So it's above zero. That's Fahrenheit. It's not above freezing, but it's above zero. We are in single digits still, but that's all right. Better than what it was. I've got to run and go get a vehicle. So I got Mitzi here. And even though it's got a fresh oil change, you still want to keep that oil hot. I got a little oil heater under here. Magnetic, just sticks to the oil pan. All the batteries in the world won't get you started in this cold weather. Or keep you running if you don't have oil pressure when you fire up. Yeah, we'll just let here run for a couple of minutes. Let everything get to working around. You don't want to take off right away. We got about a foot of snow last week, and right through here it likes to drift up shut. It wasn't until the hood of the truck, but it was pretty close. So yeah, it makes it difficult to try getting in and out. It was yesterday when they finally got this opened up. Yeah, it's not even very far north. That plow pile is about a foot higher than my hood. I'm at the customer's place getting ready to pick up his vehicle. And guess what? It's the same one I worked on here last week. Brought it up here for a suspension problem, and then when I dropped it off, it never started again. That's fun. We'll get drug up on the trailer and figure out what's wrong with it down there. We're rolling down the road now, got all loaded up. I was gonna film myself loading this thing, but I forgot my tripod. So, sorry. We're gonna get this thing down to the shop. Now, yesterday when I was changing oil on this truck, I noticed a little bit of transmission fluid leaking. Like, well, shoot, that's something I'm gonna have to fix. And then I was up on top of the engine checking the tranny fluid, make sure it wasn't low, and I heard a wah, 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 wah. So I shut the truck off and wiggled around on the fan, and the water pump loose. So, fine. Yeah, it happens to us too. Going from one thing, we find three more. But I don't get paid to do it on my own. Now that I got my tripod, I'll show you me unloading this thing, getting all ready to go. We got to get this thing in here, find out why it won't start, get the parts ordered, because hopefully I'm driving it home tonight back to the customer, since I've got a whole bunch of work to do to Mitzi here to get it ready to go again. In we go. It's nice to have a little tractor to pull in with. Well, I'm debating whether or not I'll post this. I'm just going to put my thoughts into the video here. My plan for today was to go get that vehicle. I forgot my tripod, so I didn't see it. You didn't get to see it loaded. You got to see it unloaded. We pulled it in, and I was going to check back periodically. You know, we checked this, and my boss and I jumped on it. It's dark out now. You know how something can be so simple, but then disguise itself as everything else? I had already checked the fuel pressure on this vehicle. It had good fuel pressure. Okay, get it in. The battery was low, but not dead. It would still crank really slow. So I put a charger on it and we cranked it. Wouldn't hit a lick. Check the voltage on the plug wire at the coil. 30,000 volts. Oh, it's got plenty of voltage. Check the voltage at the top of one of the plug wires in 20-some thousand volts. It's not losing much in the cab. You know, it's got plenty of spark down there at the plug. So we thought, well, for whatever reason, you know, this voltage is high. It's supposed to be about 10 when it's sparking the spark plug. So we thought, well, it must be not getting the fuel. So we tried to shoot some stuff in the intake and get it to fire, and it wouldn't fire. And it actually let off the key, and the darn thing rolled the engine backwards 2 or 3 pops. Oh God, oh God, it's gonna be jump time. It sounds too good to jump time. So what I did was I took the distributor cap off of it, looked in there, made sure the rotor wasn't cattywampus or something like that. It wasn't. It actually looked pretty decent. I pulled the shroud and the fan off of it because it's a whole lot easier to get to the crank. And I rolled the engine over by hand and we lined it up to number 1 on the cap and looked. And looks like it's on a mark on the crank because it actually has a crank mark. I pulled out number 1 spark plug. We stuck a borescope in there to make sure that it was on TDC. And it was. But the plug was flooded. Flooded. It had 20,000 volts on the wire. The plug was flooded. Whenever the plug gets flooded with fuel, the voltage goes down because it's a short. It doesn't have to build up voltage to jump. I remember doing a tune-up for this guy. But was it this one? I know I did it to his full size with the V8. And then I did it to the full size with the V6. And this is the V6, which is the same motor, but it's not the full size, it's the S10. Well, long story short, it needed a tune-up. We did put a cap and rotor on it. They look good. Plugs and wires. He's only had this thing for about 3 years, and those plugs looked old, and they were gapped wide. Wyatt ran fine. I drove it up, parked it, left it for a day, and he went in it, and it wouldn't hit a lick. Of course, it dropped 40 degrees in that amount of time. But still, hit and miss, for God's sake. Boss is out driving it right now, make sure everything's good. I had plans for today. We'll see how my day goes whenever he gets back. Okay, test drive went well. I brought the vehicle back home, delivered it to the customer. He brought me to my house. These are one of these days where you'd rather just go ahead and go back to bed, but the job has to be done. So, sorry I didn't have more in the video, but this is how the day goes sometimes. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.